Hi.
Hey.
Nice to see you again.
and you too. And we're here sitting out by the palm trees, out by the water. This is pretty great.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice way to come back from the holidays.
That's true.
Negative 14 degrees out, if you guys wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, not quite. Well, yes. Hi, I'm Carl with Horizon, and this is
Matthew, nice to see you guys again. We're back today with Resource Stage Study Hall. It's been a little bit since we've seen you guys, but we're happy to be back at it.
Yeah. So you can see here that we have a nice backdrop, and you can see that I'm actually turning around and looking at this because this isn't a green screen. This is not a green screen. It's not chroma key blue or anything like that. We're not doing the weather or anything of that sort. This is video projection onto a large screen behind us. And today we are talking about
video projection for backdrops.
Right.
So lots of people, they see these really cool effects when they go to see plays at Stratford, the Grand, Drayton, things like that. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. I don't think I could ever do something like that in my school.
Right, except that there's lots and lots of schools where they spend tons and tons of time building sets, painting sets, kind of, trying to get, hey, I need a Christmas tree, I need a this thing, I need a that thing, I need to build a tree house, I need all of these different things, and it's expensive, especially if it's for just one scene in your show and you're trying to do things. But watch this. Right now, we're sitting out by the beach, and look, with the snap of my fingers, we can. Oh, I didn't even get there. Look at this. We're in.
There we are.
We got asteroid field here, and we're kind of in space. This could get weird. Okay, and then we switch. Let's see what else we got.
That's relaxing.
Here, yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. So all we're doing here is just using video loops that are being projected on a projector.
Exactly. It's actually a really simple setup. It may not look that simple right now. These effects, it's working surprisingly well. I'm really impressed with how it's turned out, honestly.
Okay, all right, great.
But that's the thing is, it takes, as long as you get the fundamental things down, you can get some really great effects for when you don't have those scenic departments and things like that.
Right, okay. So let's start with the very first most important thing, which I'm going to say, and I think different people could argue this different ways, I'm going to say you need somewhere to project.
Absolutely. You need a surface. You need some sort of screen to project on.
Right.
Now, I know in my school, when I was in high school, we had the big gymnasium, and it had a big projection screen there.
Right.
We watched movies, things like that.
Right.
That's exactly the kind of surface that's perfect for this.
Right. Or if you're in a school that's lucky enough to have a cyclorama, large drape, that kind of thing, then you can project onto that because often that is the full width of the stage and usually a good height, sometimes 12, 16 feet high, something of that sort. So that's great. But if you're not in that situation, you can still build, just a white set or a cream set or even a light blue set or something like that and project onto that.
Exactly.
Some of the projections that we're talking about that happen in some large performances, they're actually projecting onto set pieces to bring out additional colors or to add something to it. And you can do that as well. So depending on what you need to do. Now, a big white surface, a big flat surface is often ideal, or maybe with a little bit of curve, there's some other things to go along with that. But
definitely,
big surface, some sort of projection surface is key.
Yeah.
Next component.
Next thing,
you got to project onto it, so you need
projector.
There we go. Okay.
So the projector that we have is a lot bigger than you would see in probably your school or classroom.
Yes.
But same kind of fundamental thing.
Right. So this is what we're using today is kind of the extreme, to show you the extreme. But we've had clients do this sort of thing with projectors that are essentially glorified classroom projectors.
Yeah.
So maybe, we're standing on cases here today to kind of bring us up so we look a little bit better on the screen. But
yeah, how's my confidence?
But is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
But we have this projector down here on the floor, and it's a significantly large projector, but it's got this really cool lens on it where it projects back. And because of that, we're only about 7 feet away from the screen surface, and that 7 foot distance there is enough that we can get pretty close. In fact, I'm going to we're going to switch back to this camera, and I am going to move back here a little bit, and you can see now I'm getting out of the lights. But as I move back, I can get to about here before I start to get into the projection, and the projector starts to hit me. You can see it right there as the projector starting to hit me. You could do this, you could flip the projector upside down, hang it from the ceiling, and then I could get super close.
Absolutely. It gets you that big image with a lot more depth for your actors to be able to interact with the background and
Yep.
interact with each other without getting right in front and blocking that entire screen.
Right, exactly.
If you're doing
And-
shadow puppets, it works.
And I know, yeah, exactly. I know that, a lot of elementary schools, tons of kids on stage, not a ton of depth. So if you can do something where you're projecting above, then that's really, that can work
Absolutely.
really nicely.
Yeah, it keeps it nice out of the way so that way it's not even you're risking the equipment. Everything's out of the way and it's a nice way to get that depth on stage.
Right. And to be clear, there are expensive ways to do this with expensive projectors that get you brighter, better resolution, and bigger images. Okay, so you can go to that, and we happen to rent that kind of thing. That's part of our business is we rent projectors for different types of things.
Yeah.
Not only for schools, but also projectors that you might see at some places like the Grand Theatre here in London or other venues. Sometimes those projectors come from us.
Yeah.
That is a solution, but that's not to say there isn't a way that you can do it with the projectors that you have around the school.
Absolutely. The projectors that you have on your AV card and that are probably more than powerful to do a lot of these effects that we're looking to do.
If you're being careful about how big you're wanting to go, and if you're being careful about how you can kind of angle that projector and that sort of thing.
Exactly. The biggest thing when it comes to projection is subtlety. That
Right.
when you're doing subtle effects, the quality and the brightness of the projector doesn't matter as much.
Yes.
And that's one thing to get into is the brightness of it, that you do want to make sure that obviously the darker the better, but when you are closer to the surface, that's why we have something like this, you're still going to get that bright image.
Right. So one of the things that's kind of difficult to show here today is that we are being lit from the front, but as soon as we get closer to the screen surface, we're out of the light. And because we're being very careful about how the light is cutting right to the bottom of the projection. So if you can control your light on your stage and move it so that it's not lighting onto there, and there's a distinct difference between the projection surface and the area that you're lighting of the people, that's going to be better.
Absolutely.
Okay? And that might be difficult for some schools, but I think you can play around with it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about the surface.
Yeah.
We talked about the projector. We talked about location of the projector and a couple of different kinds with short throw and that sort of thing. But you need to feed something to the projector.
Yeah, where are we getting our image from? Are we using a laptop? Are we using a VCR? We need some sort of input. So in most cases, like this right now, this is running off of a laptop just using PowerPoint.
Right.
Something
right, exactly.
Everyone's using. You can use PowerPoint, Google Slides, VLC Media Player, all free software that you have access
Yeah,
to.
in this case, this is just a loop, right? So
Yeah.
this is a loop video that keeps looping. I think we have another one. Can we switch to? I think we've got one more. Yeah, here we
Ooh,
go.
there we
So
go.
we got some fish swimming around, that sort of thing. And this is a loop where it just looks like the fish just keep swimming.
Yeah.
This kind of thing is available online for relatively inexpensive.
Absolutely.
And then you can put this into something like PowerPoint or Google Slides.
Yeah.
Or VLC if you want to go that route. There's a whole bunch of different things. That's not necessarily the way most of our professional theatrical clients do it, but that doesn't mean that you can't get a great effect for your school by doing something like this.
Exactly. This effects that we're seeing, like I said, it's all just going off PowerPoint right now.
Right.
And
Oh, look at
I
that
think it
fish.
looks pretty good.
Look
Yeah,
at that
look,
guy.
there he
He's
is.
big.
Yeah.
All right. So content isn't a big deal to be able to use almost anything.
Exactly.
But you do want to test it.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing is you want to test. You can see in our circumstance where we have very specific areas where we need to stand, where the projector is, things like
Right.
that. So you have to test it. Make sure that it's going to work for 100% of the time of what you're looking to do.
That's right. If we start moving up, then things look a little bit funny. If we start moving down, then things start looking a little bit funny.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you want to consider where on your projection, if you're taking say you find a video loop that you like, or just even still images that you really like, and you think, well, this is going to look really good. Think about when that's being projected. Are people going to be able to see all of those things? So are they going to see the things that are happening right along the top? Are they going to be able to see what's happening along the sides? Because you might have drape on stage, or you might have kids standing there, that kind of thing. So just consider how those pieces all fit together.
Absolutely. It's thinking about the usage, because maybe you're using this for an underwater scene. You want it to fill this entire space, but we're on a camera right now, so there's different places people are sitting. So you got to think about viewing angles of your audience, different scenery and how it affects in different spots as well.
Right.
There's more advanced things that a lot of these professional theaters use, but for a simple backdrop like this, it's as simple as having the screen, your surface, the projector, and having those source, and nailing those 3 key things are what you need the most, I think,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
something like this to get that desired effect.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
this seems like one of the more complicated resource stage study hall topics, but that's it.
Right?
That's
a
the
nice
whole thing.
It's quick, it's simple, and look how powerful it is. What do we got next? Let's take it to where are we set?
Here
There we go. Nice calm pasture.
I feel like I need to go get my tractor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us for Resource Stage Study Hall. We are going to be back in February, and we're going to be talking about another topic. If there's something that we can help you with, if you want to know something about projectors or something else for your next school performance, please let us know. You can find us at horizonsolutions.net, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much. Take
Thank you.
care.